I will give you guys an update on kind of what tutorials and things I'm working on. Actually just finished another swaddle sweetie. I think this one is my favorite one yet. Her hair's kind of wild looking, but I got this minky fabric at Joann's, and I used the coordinating fabric to make the little hair bow, and I just kind of eyeballed it on the hair bow. I just cut out 2 long rectangles of fabric and just rounded the ends on both pieces and put them pretty sides together and sewed around and left a space for turning, flipped it, sewed it together, top stitched it, and then I just tied it in a knot and slid the little clip on the back. So it was easy to make the hair bow. Anyway, I got the design for the Beatrice Bunny, so I'm going to work on that tonight. I am making progress on my Holly Dolly that I made, but she looks a little janky, so I haven't got hair on her yet or clothes. So maybe once that's done, we'll explore that further. But anyway, like I say, tonight I'm going to do the Beatrice Bunny, and if I have time, I'll go ahead and do the Easter basket and the eggs as well. And I'm also going to show how to do personalization on the ears. Because she has those nice long bunny ears, which are excellent for adding personalization too. So anyway, I do not have any of like the tan minky like that's shown on the Planet Applique website, so I'm just going to do a white bunny. But same goes. So anyway, let's get into it. I will show you guys how to add the personalization to the ears. Let me get this pulled up and then I will screen share it and you guys can see how to do it. USB stick. Okay, so I'm gonna do the 6x10 bunny. Let me screen share. Okay. Okay, you guys should be able to see that. If you can't, let me know. Okay, so this is, I've already deleted everything else down, so all I have left are the PES files, because that's the only ones I need. So this is just the 6x10 size and just the PES files. So you see we have ears, arms, torso part 1, torso part 2. The legs are actually made into the torso on this. When I initially bought it, I thought they were attached by doll joints, but they are not. The legs are one piece with the body, so the only doll joints you need are for the head and the arms. So that's the torso. There's the head part 1, the head part 2. These are the 3 Easter eggs, the carrot, the basket, and this is the other part of the basket, and I think the rest of this is the dress. I'm not sure what this one is. Like I said, I haven't read closely through the directions yet. But anyway, so to add the personalization, I'm going to take the bunny ears and open that. And I'm probably going to have to go back and screen share this other window. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can figure out how to add this. Okay. Okay, it should be on there now. So these are my ears. So I'm going to add my daughter's name and the year to this. So this is Embroidery, so I'm just going to go in and type my daughter's name. And I'm going to pick a font. I think 1 inch is a little big. Because you have to remember that where it stitches along the sides, when it turns, it'll take some of that off. Not sure how I feel about that font. Let me roll on down here. I've got so many fonts. It's just ungodly, and I can never find what I need. because I want something that's not too thin and not too curly because I want it to be able to um, show up on the ears. That one's not bad. Let's try 3/4 inch. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so just get it centered. You can look at the top of the ear here and look in the middle. So on here I have a grid that you can see. And I'm just gonna align it kind of with that. Okay. And then on the other ear, I'm gonna add the year 2020, 2021. Almost forgot. Oh, there's no numbers in this font. Okay, well, scratch that font. Let's try this one. I really like the look of that other one, but it just don't have numbers built in, which I'm not crazy about. Like I said, especially when you're stitching on Minky, you want to go with a font that's a little bit thicker because if you don't, it will just get covered up in the fuzz and it will not look good. That one's actually cute, but I'm worried that it might be too thin. Okay. Like I say, I've got an ungodly amount of fonts, so here I am just perusing. I'm trying to find one, like I say, that'll be thick enough. I might go back to that farmhouse one. Honestly, that was one of the first ones I looked at. I don't know why some fonts have numbers built in and some don't. I have no idea. I wish I had an explanation because it's kind of frustrating when like this you need to add the ear or add the year and you can't. Don't think I have less than a 1 inch in this. I've gotten several new fonts lately that I have not even used, so some of them I don't even know what's on here. Okay, I think I'm going to go back to the first one I tried because I really like this one, but it doesn't have the numbers. So we're just going to go to this one. Maybe. I don't know why it's not changing. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I'll just delete that and start a new one. There's no numbers in that one either. Well, I may just end up, I don't know, I'm trying to decide if that one matches good enough to do it. I'm sorry guys, I was not anticipating this taking this long. I kind of had an idea of what font I wanted to use and I thought it had numbers with it, but apparently it does not. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do this one. This one's kind of basic, but it's a little bit, it has more rounded edges than some of the other ones. I actually think I might take this up a little bit just because the numbers are smaller. Okay, so to get the personalization on here, you want to be sure you have one going this way and one going the opposite way, because if they're both going the same way, it's going to look kind of weird. And so here I have, that's step 1, that's step 2. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it up there, and I'm going to drag this up. Whoops. Sometimes it's easier down than go up. Okay, there we go. So now I have step 1, Rhiannon 2021, and then the top part of the ears. So let me save this. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to get it in the right folder so I can find it. Okay. Let me go out of this. Let me get my screen share back off. Okay. So I should be back. And I'm just going to put this on my USB drive really quickly. And then we will be ready, hopefully. Okay, let me be sure that transferred. Yes, it did. Okay. So I have my tearaway stabilizer already hooped. Actually did do one thing in advance. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the ears first since that's the quickest and the easiest. So I'm going to pick my design that I just did. I don't know which one is easier. Okay. And like I said, I don't have the tan like the bunny on Planet Applique, so I'm just going to do a white bunny, but it will look basically the same. I can never get you guys in a good position for this. Okay. So let me switch back to my white thread. I was making this Bernie Sanders meme towel yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. It may show reversed on there, but this is it. It says, "I'm smitten in my mittens." I just thought that was hilarious. I got the design from Etsy, in case you're wondering. But I have a bunch of pink thread out because that's what I was using yesterday. Okay. Let me switch back to my white thread. And in this case, you've got to remember that whatever you put down, whatever the name is stitched onto will be the inner ear. So if you want to have pink inner ears, don't stitch it onto the white, for example. You want to stitch it onto the color that's going to be for the inner ears. I'm going to go grab my pink fuzzy fabric because I don't have it out here. Okay. So now I'm ready to move on to the personalization. And I will show you a little trick that I use to kind of help keep everything in place. Let me cut a piece of this out and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So, let me look at my nap and be sure I've got it going in the right direction. So I'm going to cover this up. And then, because I am using a fuzzy fabric, which really I guess you could use cotton if you want, just like quilter's cotton, but I prefer the fuzzy. So I'm going, if I can find it. I'm going to take a piece of my water soluble, and I'm actually going to run it back and stitch that tack down stitch again. And it will stitch that water soluble on, so I don't have to hold it and I don't have to pin it or tape it or whatever. It's so much easier to do it this way. Okay, I kind of cut a piece that's a little bit too big, but that's okay. Okay, just be sure your edges are covered up with enough on the edge that you won't be stitching right on the edge. You want to be sure you have enough kind of leeway. So I just ran the machine back and I'm just stitching the tack down stitch again. Just be sure it doesn't get bunched up or anything, and you'll be good to go. Okay, and I'm just going to do white for the personalization because I don't really want it to be super bold. I want it to be kind of subtle. If you're wanting something that's really going to stick out, probably do a different color than white unless you're doing like black ears or something. But anyway, so now I'm just going to stitch the personalization, and then when I'm done with this, I'll only have one step left to finish the ears. I'm going to go ahead and open up the directions on my computer so I can be looking over those. I kind of briefly looked over them yesterday, and it looks actually surprisingly easy, so I'm not too worried about it. When I don't know that I have orange, I have orange cotton I could do the carrot out of, but I don't have orange minky. I might have orange felt, and I could use that. Okay, for the 6x10 bunny, it says you need 30mm joints for the arms and 40 or 45 for the head. And I found that usually for the head, the bigger doll joint you use, the stable it is. Sometimes if you use one that's too small, the head gets really floppy and it won't stay correctly in the right place. So the arms are really easy. They're made in the same way as the ears. Just put one piece down, put another piece face down on top. And it says you can add magnets if you want. I'm not worried about adding that to mine. But anyway, I don't have any of the super strong magnets. The only ones I have are just some little ones I got from Walmart, and they're not very strong, so I know they wouldn't hold. But she recommends on the directions, it's Rare Earth brand, R-A-R-E Earth. She says they're really strong, so you can use those if you want magnetized hands, and then you can magnetize the carrot and the eggs and the Easter basket, and then she can hold them. And there's also a dress pattern. I actually also bought the add-on face for Beatrice Bunny as well, but I haven't had time to really sit down and look at the choices. So I don't know. I might end up changing to a different face from the stock face. So the stock one is pretty cute, but I'm wanting one that looks a little bit more realistic. wish that all of these folders came already organized, because I hate having to sit and go through everything. But there's, in the Beatrice Bunny face add-on set, there's 3 different faces, and they come in all the different sizes. So you get all of those with the one purchase. And there's also one that's included that has little like bunny teeth too. It's really cute. I'm trying to go through and delete off all these old, or not old files, but the ones that I don't need. Because I only use Brother Machines and I only use PES, so all these other formats I just delete. I wish there was a way you could only download the type you need, which I know on the website Designs by Juju, she does give that option. You can only download the ones of the file type that you need, which is very handy. But I believe that is the only website that does that, unless it's like Embroidery Library or something where you you can pick what style you want to buy. If you're familiar with Embroidery Library, they've actually started doing their sales a little bit differently. So used to, I think it was every Sunday, I want to say, they started a new like sale collection, but they've recently changed it to now. They still have the collections, but instead of it being a set like 30% off or 50% off or whatever it is, the prices vary for each design, because I think it was, the majority of the designs were like $1.34 or something, but now the larger designs cost a little more, but the smaller designs cost less, so it kind of evens out. Let's see if I can, I was going to see if I could show you guys these faces, if I can figure out how to make the icons bigger so you can see it. Okay. Let me screen share again. Okay, so here you can see the different faces. There's this one that has the little eyelashes and just the basic mouth. This one has no mouth. I think the eyes look kind of sad on that one, personally. I really like this one. I think it's cute. She looks like she's smiling and it's got the little bunny teeth. The faces that come with it, or the face, I guess, is this one. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Hold on. Let me zoom up on this again. So this is the face it comes with, and she does not have a mouth. So I wanted one that had a mouth just because I think it looks a lot cuter. So I am going to use this one. And there's the 4x4, the 5x7, 6x10, and 8x12. So I've got to get that one in a second and put it on my flash drive. I just realized I didn't have that turned on. Okay, I'll turn it on now. There's the faces. These are the additional faces. The one that it comes with kind of looks like this, except it has different eyes. And the additional faces you could buy, I think it's like $3.50 maybe for the pack. It may be $8. I don't remember if it was $3.50 or $8. I know that's a wide gap, but I don't remember. But anyway, this is the one I'm going to change it to because I like the little bunny teeth. I think it's cute. Okay, so now we're back to that. And I'm almost done with the personalization. I don't know if you can see it, but we're on the home stretch. Some of these threads I've got everywhere. I have a bad habit with that. I get threads out and then I just let them slowly pile up and I never throw them away. Okay, one more number left. I'm gonna do the number 1. I almost put in 2020. I can't believe today's February 1st. I think it's February 1st. Yes, it is. It does not seem like a month has already gone by this year. I feel like 2020 both drug on and flew by. Okay. I'm not even going to worry about pulling off the water soluble to do this. So my bunny's going to be white. So this is going to be the color for the back of the ears, which is white. So I'm going to put fuzzy side down. So you're going to have both pretty sides together. So I'm just going to put this on here and stitch it together. And then I'll show you guys how to cut it out and flip it and all that good stuff. And it also shows on the tutorial how you can make a little tail. I've got to get some white yarn, so I won't be able to show that today, but it's really, really easy. She explains how to do it with directions, and it's super simple. Okay, now we'll stitch the other ear. I actually have my phone plugged in tonight, guys, so hopefully it won't die. It's died on me 2 times before. You would think I would learn, but I haven't yet, apparently. Okay, we're almost done. I'm really excited to make this because it's so easy. And like I say, you don't have to worry about making the legs because they're part of the torso, which I'm very excited about. Okay, so let me flip you guys back up here. Maybe. Okay. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to cut off this extra piece if I can find my scissors. Oh, right in front of my face. I try to be extra conservative with my fabric, especially minky, just because it's so expensive. I try to get it on sale when I can. Okay. So I took that out of the hoop. So this is what I have. My ears that stitch. So first thing, I'm going to take off the stabilizer on the back. Sometimes you kind of have to rip it a little manually to get started, then you can just pull it off. And you could use poly mesh stabilizer for this, which is also a tearaway, but it's the kind that has the little holes in it. That's what I have been using, but that was only because I couldn't find this kind, and they actually had it back in stock at Joann's. So I went ahead and got this. I just feel like it's a little more stable. It seems to hold better. But if you're doing something that's thinner, but you want to use tearaway, you can use the poly mesh. Oh my goodness, got a piece stuck. There we go. And you don't have to worry about cutting threads off of the stitching if you did personalization, because it's going to be on the inside of the ear anyway, so nobody will see it. Okay, so that's the back side, and then that's the front side. So now I'm going to cut it apart and trim around them. Trying to salvage as much of this water soluble as I can. Okay. So I'll show you guys kind of how much I'm leaving on the sides. So you can see that's how much I'm leaving around the edge. So you obviously don't want to cut it too close, but you don't want to leave it huge, because then when you flip it, it is not going to lay right and it's going to look really weird. Okay, so here's one ear cut out, what it looks like. So now I'm going to flip it and just go down here to the bottom. And it's a little bit tight to kind of pull through, but it can be done. Okay, I'm going to use my little skewer to kind of help push it through. Just be sure you don't push too hard, because you don't want to rip it. But usually if you can get it going, it will flip pretty easily. Okay, almost got it. Okay, the water soluble is getting caught. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to tear off the water soluble that was on top, and I will show you what the ear looks like. So there's the ear flipped. That's the back side. So I'm just going to trim off any little extra threads. I'm going to take my skewer and kind of just push around the edges to be sure the seam is completely flipped, because if you don't do that, sometimes it will have a spot that doesn't flip right, and it will make a little indentation in the ear whenever you turn it. So just be sure all your edges are pushed out well. Okay, now I'm going to do the same for the other ear. This is making fuzzies go everywhere. Okay. And I'll show you guys on the end of it. I don't trim it down to a point because that leaves some excess fabric, and then it will not flip really good and it won't lay right. So let me show you how I cut the end. I cut it like that, where I kind of go across. If it will focus, maybe. Kind of go across. I don't cut it down to a really sharp point. It seems like it flips better if you do that, and it lays better. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. Just flip this one through. And I think the next step is the arms, which is also super easy. You just need 2 pieces and you lay them on there and stitch it together. Oh my goodness, I can't get this one started for some reason. My husband must be watching Yellowstone. I hear the music coming on in there. I kind of started watching it, but or no, I'm not really into westerns and cowboys, so I mean it was good. I mean, I didn't hate it, but you know. Okay, so this is this one. I'm going to peel this water soluble off. Be sure you go back into your letters, like the O's and the A's and D's, stuff that has round parts. Be sure you get it off in the middle. If you can't get it off, use a Q-tip with water. Or you can always spray it with a water bottle and let it sit for a while. Sometimes that will work. It depends on what thickness of water soluble stabilizer you used, but sometimes that will do the trick. Okay, sure got all my threads off. So here's my other ear. So here are my 2 ears. Okay, so next we're going to do the arms. Which actually I'm going to put this other face design on my USB stick really quickly. Okay, and delete off the old one so I don't accidentally do it. I've got so many projects I'm working on, you guys. My USB drive is jam-packed. I'm also going to be doing, at some point, not today, but a tutorial on the Planet Applique, the little square baby toys, the fox one, to be exact, but the same directions apply to all of them. My computer charger's stuck. Okay. But I will be doing that at some point, and also the fox bib. I'll be doing a tutorial of that as well. So if you're ever interested in making baby toys, those will be coming soon. At some point, I want to get the fox baby booties, and I'll do a tutorial on that. I do have the unicorn ones already, but I want to make a whole fox gift set. And she has a little lovey. She has a stuffed animal. She has, I think she has the booty. She's got mittens. What was the other one? A hat. I think she has a fox hat. I'm not sure. But she has stuff to make really cute matching sets. So anyway, let me get you guys back down here. We will make the arms. Okay, so let me find it. Okay. So first step is just the placement stitch. And I'm stitching this directly onto my tearaway stabilizer. I really wish I had the tan to make it the way that she makes it, the color, but I haven't been able to find any of the light tan minky. The only one I can find is the kind that has the dots on it, but that looks weird to make a tan one without. Okay, so the next step, you're going to cover this up, and you're going to stitch your 2 reinforcement circles for the doll joints. Make sure that edge is covered up good. Okay. and just kind of watch it. You can run the tack down stitch again if you want, just to hold it in place, but I'm just going to hold it. And you don't need water soluble for this because this will up anyway. It's simply a placement / reinforcement stitch, but it won't be seen, so it doesn't matter if it's kind of hidden as a fuzz. Okay, I'll do the second one. Okay. So believe it or not, your arms are almost done. Okay, and I just use one long piece. I'm just going to fold it over, but you don't have to use a connected piece. You can use 2 individual pieces, and you're just going to put them fuzzy sides together. Be sure your bottom piece is straight. And carefully do that one on top. Like I said, you don't have to use a folded piece, but it's just easier for me because that's what I already had. Be sure everything is down how it needs to go. Okay, and then you stitch it together. Okay, one more. And you'll notice how it leaves a gap right there. That's for turning. So whenever you cut it, just be sure you leave a little bit of extra fabric there, so you don't have something to poke inside of the arm whenever you sew it closed. Okay, so there's the arms. Which actually, I'm going to see if I can add part of the head. Let's see. Okay, let me look at my directions again. Like I said, I'm trying to conserve stabilizer as best I can. Okay, no, it's not going to fit. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to put a new piece of tearaway in here. And you're just going to cut out the arms the exact same way you did the ears. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be for the torso, I believe. Look at my directions again. Okay. So this is the one that kind of has a bump on it. So that's the only way I really know how to describe it. And it has a little heart on it. So this is just a placement stitch. So the next step is for the little heart, which I think this kind of goes on the booty of the bunny, which I think is really cute, which you can skip this if you want. For instance, if you're making a boy bunny, you can just skip over it. So you need 2 pieces of fabric for this, which I'm going to get now. Okay, so again, I'm just doing 1 piece and I just fold it in half because I think it's easier. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out which way the nap lays on this. Okay, here we go. So just be sure it's covered and be sure you have enough on this side that you can flip it back over and cover everything. Okay, so I'm going to put in my pink thread and stitch this little heart, and you need a little small piece of water soluble for this. Let's see, I think I'm going to do this color pink. There's so many shades of pink and I can never choose. Hold on, I think my thread cap is up here. Okay, I couldn't find my right thread cap. Okay, and I'm just going to use one of these little pieces of water soluble that I threw in the trash because that is all that I need. Now I'm just going to stitch the little heart. Sorry, I'm not trying to block it with my hand, but I'm trying to keep this water soluble laying down. Don't get sucked up into the void. Okay, so there's that. Oh, I think it's so fun. This bunny actually has like a little booty. I just think it's adorable. Okay, I'll take that off. And I'm going to switch back to my white thread. And you don't have to have one piece folded for this, but again, that's just what I'm using. And if you can see this straight line here, you just want that to be covered. So pull that over enough where it's going to be covered. And then flip this so you're all smooth and all together. And then you're just going to stitch this, and it's going to leave a little opening for turning. Okay, so now that one's done. Okay, I'm looking at what the next step is. Okay. So she does hers a little bit differently than how I would do it, but we're just going to roll with it. Okay, so get back to this. If you guys can, where this line stitched here, you're going to just trim on this side, trim it off, and then here's the gap right here that is left for turning, so just leave a little bit of extra fabric there. Okay, be sure I get this stuff loaded in here, right? Get another piece of tearaway. Okay. Okay, let me double check and be sure I got the right file. Yes. Okay, so this one stitched directly onto the stabilizer. And this is going to be the part for the rest of the torso. Which, like I say, on this one, the legs are part of the body, so you won't have to make separate legs, and you won't need dot joints for legs. They are just made directly into the body. Okay, I got my other piece trimmed out, so I don't know if you can see it, but there's the little heart, and this is the hole somewhere for turning, right there. So I'm going to put that piece to the side, and I'm going to see what I need to do for this. Okay, So you're gonna do essentially the same thing that you just did with the other part of the body. So let me get the fabric for that. Okay. So let me check my, okay. So you're just gonna fold this in half. If you're using the folded way to do it, you don't have to, you can use 2 separate pieces, but I find it easier to use a folded piece. And then this line, I don't know if you can see it, that line right there, you want to be sure it's covered. Not a ton, just enough. Oh my goodness, I have the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme in my head. My daughter has gotten into Mickey Mouse lately, and that's all she wants to watch, and it haunts my dreams. Okay, so now I'm just going to stitch this. I wish she had an applique belly to make it contrast, but it does come with a little dress, so I guess if you put the dress on her, you wouldn't be able to see it anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to trim up this line that just stitched. Obviously you don't want to get too close, but enough that you can open the fabric up. So be careful and don't poke a hole in your stabilizer, and don't snip any of the stitches. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. You can see where I just trimmed this. Okay, so now I am going to open this up. And it is still stitched to the stabilizer, so just be sure you don't pull it out or anything. And you're going to stitch the reinforcement circle for the doll joint for the head, which is going to go right here. And there's a little ridge right there. Just be sure your foot doesn't get caught or anything when it's going around. And you don't need water soluble for this because, like I say, it's just going to be covered up by the doll joint and the bottom of the head, so you won't need it. Okay. So she recommends, let's see. Okay, no, I'm not to that part yet. Okay, so now you're going to stitch a tack down for the rest of the body. So just be sure that everything is taut and stitch it down. I just realized that my foot's not covered. I don't know if I can salvage that or not. I might have to do another piece. Got it up too high on one side. Let's see if I can get this back out. I don't think I'm going to be able to save it. Dang. Okay, well, we're just going to might just be able to move it down and just restitch the placement circle for the head. We will see. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that I'd got that bumped up on one side. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to go back and pull that other placement stitch. Okay, I'm just going to be sure this is aligned. And mostly be sure that this is covered on the bottom. Okay. Hopefully this works. I really don't want to have to redo this. Nope, just pulled in the hole. Okay, we're just gonna call that and just redo it. Okay. I'm gonna try to salvage this stabilizer. Okay, well, we're just gonna do this step again. So let me run this back. Okay, got an extra large piece this time, so hopefully it works. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing that I just did 5 seconds ago. At least it wasn't something major like the face on the hood or something, so it could be easily fixed. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing and trim along this line. And hopefully we will be back to where we started. Or where we ended, I guess. Okay, so now, oh my goodness, why my hoop is not want to cooperate sometimes. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch the circle. Now that I know everything is covered up, okay, so now we're back to where we were. At least that was a quick fix. Now we are going to stitch the tack down for all of this. And this will just hold it in place for the next step. So you're still stitching on the same piece of fabric. You should not have added anything at this point. Just be sure it doesn't get wrinkled as it goes around. I always kind of stop and check to be sure it doesn't get caught on those little bumps as it goes around. That has happened to me more times than I care to admit, and ripped out everything that I was working on. Okay, and you can see how it's stitching the legs as part of the body. So here's the two legs here. Okay, so now I'm going to take my piece that I stitched earlier that has the little heart on it, and I'm going to put it fuzzy side down, and we're going to match up the seams in the middle. And on the directions, it suggests that you can kind of hot glue it in place, but I think that's a lot of work for very little reward. You can tape it if you want, but it probably will not hold. I, who likes to fly by the seat of my pants, prefers to just hold it as it goes around. Be sure I got my seams all good and lined up. And I always just kind of stitch a little bit and let it get set, and then I straighten some more, and then I let it stitch, and then I straighten. Be sure this is where it needs to be. Okay. Check on the top up here. Be sure it's how it needs to be. And you just want to be sure it stays pretty taut. You don't want it to be all wrinkly and bunched up, because then you're going to have too much fabric. That wouldn't look right. Okay. Do one more check. Usually I can kind of just feel with my finger. When you get to this part, go slow, so you can be sure it does not catch and rip on that little ridge that sticks up. The seam, I mean, whatever it's called. So just keep holding as it comes around. when you get to the seam again and be sure it doesn't get caught and doesn't stitch over the top of the foot. Okay, so that's done. Let me see what is next. Okay, next is the piece for the back of the head. And we're gonna essentially do it in the same way that we did the body. We're gonna do the back and then stitch the front and then take the back that we made previously and put it face down on top of the front of the head, stitch it together, and then flip it. I'm gonna try. I'm trying to rotate this to see if I can conserve stabilizer here. I don't think this has to be opened up. Let me double check. Okay, no, it does not. Okay, so let me get this out. And we will do the head, or at least part one of it. I'm wondering if I could use this piece I messed up on for the body as the head. It does not have a spot for turning, so I don't think that would work. I'm gonna hang on to it, and if I do a smaller size bunny, I can probably reuse it. Because it almost fit the 6x10, it was close, but it should fit the 5x7 perfectly. Okay, and I'm squeezing two things onto this hoop, so this is gonna be sideways down here. First step, once again, just goes directly onto the stabilizer. Trying to get this stabilizer off of the body. I had 2 layers on there, so it's hard to get it off. Okay. And so, like I said, you're essentially doing the same thing with the head that you did for the body. So let me finish ripping the stabilizer and I will move on and show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, I think I got the majority of it off. Okay, so we need, actually, I'm still trying to decide if I can salvage this or not. I think I can. So I'm going to just use this piece that I used earlier, my mess up piece, because I don't need as much for this. I'm really hoping this works. I do not want to have to waste all of this. It's too expensive to throw in the trash. Okay, so that should be covered pretty generously. I know you guys can't see well, I'm sorry. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but this is just like we did with the body. I'm just going to trim along this line and leave a little bit of extra here. Since this only stitched with one stitch, you can just peel it right up. And I'm going to go back and add the head file to this because I don't want to waste my stabilizer. Make sure I get the right head. Okay. Let's see. Oops. Okay, so these lines are going to stitch over this, but it doesn't matter because it's just going to get torn off anyway. So first is just the placement stitch for the piece of the head. Okay, so I'm going to take my piece for the face and put it down. And I'm also going to take my water-soluble stabilizer and put a piece of that down and let it get tacked down with the fabric. That way it holds. Okay, so I'm just going to put all of this on here together and let it all stitch. So for the face that I'm doing, you'll need pink for the nose, black for part of the eyes, white for part of the eyes, and then black for the whiskers, and white for the teeth, and black for the other part of the mouth. So black, white, and pink, basically. Okay, it looks like the teeth are the first thing to stitch, so I'm just going to leave my white thread in there and stitch that. Okay, I'm actually going to pull up a picture of this because I'm not sure if she outlines the teeth in white or black. I'm going to pull this up really quickly if it will load. My computer always runs slow when I'm streaming. I was going to say I'll look it up on my phone, but I'm using my phone for my web camera. Okay, let's see. Okay, so she stitches it in black. So choose this. And this is just going to outline the teeth. And then the next step is for the rest of the teeth. This creates the little line so you see two separate teeth, and it does the rest of the mouth. And the next step is for the whiskers. I'm going to do those in black as well. If you're doing a darker colored bunny like black or navy, you would probably want to do all this in white just so it would show up. Done. Once we finish this head part, then we will be done, and all we have to do is assemble it. The little rogue threads drive me crazy. I'm working on cutting out the body right now. I still have to cut out the arms. Okay, so this is for the eyelashes, which if you're doing a boy one, you could always skip the eyelashes, and it won't look as girly. Or you could always even do the nose in black too, if you wanted something that really is not girly. Okay, and the next step is for the blacks of the eyes, and then the next step will be for the whites of the eyes. I hope that I have the materials it calls for to make the Easter basket. I know I have material for the eggs, but I just don't know about the Easter basket. I haven't looked at those instructions yet. Do not like too much more. We'll have to add the ears onto this too. So this will need your ears for the rest of the head. You'll have to add them on. going to switch back to my white thread. Oh my goodness, my little scissors have not been cut worth anything today. I need to clean them and sharpen them. Okay, I'm trying to clear off some of these little threads. It's easier to cut them on here rather than wait till you get your water soluble off. Okay, now I'm going to do the whites of the eyes. Okay. So now we're going to do the nose. So I have to put in my pink thread. Finish cutting this arm out really quickly. Okay. Finishing flipping my arms. Be sure all those seams are poked out good. Okay, so now you're going to do the placement stitches for the ears up here. I'm just going to leave my pink thread in. That way I can see the placement stitches better, because if you stitch it with white, it's really hard to see. Or if you stitch it with whatever color you're making your bunny. And the placement stitches won't show up, so it doesn't really matter if you stitch them in a different color. Okay, so now I'm going to take my ears. Let me double check the directions to be sure I'm doing it right. Okay. So you want to put your ears on here. And this nice pink side with the embroidery on it, you want to be sure it is down. And you can see because it's down, and then when you lift it up, that's how it will look. So actually, I think I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to swap sides. Okay, so she angles hers in a little bit. She doesn't go really far. She just goes a little bit, just about right there. Okay, so this one stitches first, and they both stitch at the same time. So I'm going to stitch one and then pause it, and then do the other one. Okay, so now I'm going to do this one just the same. And you can be sure it's straight by, let me be sure you guys can see this. Okay, so like here, there's the little placement mark. So this ear's already stitched on, so I can lay this one on, and you can be sure it's centered by where it meets. If it meets at that mark, then you know it's centered. And same for the top. If your line goes directly into the center of the V, then you know that's where you're supposed to be. Oops. Okay, so she says you can remove the water soluble, but I'm not worried about doing it. Okay, so let me kind of zoom this out a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to take the piece of the head that we stitched earlier. I'm going to take some tape so I can tape down these ears, because obviously if you leave them down here, they're going to get sewn into the head. So I'm going to lift the ear up and fold it under. Do the same with the other one. And just tape them like that. Okay. I don't remember if there's a top or a bottom to this. Okay, there is. So again, you're just going to line up your seams. Oops, gotta put my white thread in. Just forgot. Okay, double check my alignment again. And just really watch when you come around to the ears, because it's going to be sticking up some and you don't want it to get caught. So that one went over okay. Holding as it goes around. And again, just watch when you get to that ear. Okay, so there's the head. So that's all for the stitching. Let me get this turned back around. Maybe. Sorry, my little holder does not want to cooperate. Okay. So this is what the head looks like. This is the back of the stabilizer. This is the front. So first thing, I'm going to rip off the stabilizer. again, it doesn't matter if you have rogue strings on the back because it's going to be inside the bunny anyway, so nobody will see it. I just try to get out as much stabilizer as I can so the face isn't crunchy. Okay, so there's that. So now I'm going to trim it on this side because it's easier to see the stitching. Just be careful when you cut over the ears because it's going to be a little bit thicker. Okay, so now we have that. So this is what the head looks like now, still inside out. So you have this hole on the back here and you're going to flip it through there and just be careful with your ears. I can kind of reach the tape in there, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it. Okay, and I still have my water soluble on my face, so I'm just going to rip that off. And this is turning out really cute, you guys. I'm really happy with this so far. Okay, so I got all my water soluble off. So here's what it looks like now. I'm going to personalize little ears. Okay, so let me roll over to the directions again. Okay, so she recommends using some of the, I think it's Dr. Scholl's like moleskin stuff for your feet, but she recommends putting that over the fabric to stabilize it, but I do not have any of that, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm looking to see where she places the arms on hers. Okay. So, like it said, it did not leave a hole for the head on the bunny. And you do have this reinforcement circle on the body, so you can use a seam ripper and very carefully cut that out. You don't want to use too much force because the seam ripper is sharp and it will go fast and it will slice all your fabric. So don't push too hard. You can always use scissors if you feel like you can't get it. Okay. Now I think she said a 40 or 45 for the head, but I don't know that I have any more. I do have a 45. I think a 45 would be okay. Got one left. Maybe. I don't know where the washer is. I might have to use a smaller one if I can find the washer for this. No, this may be it. Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, so for the head, the part with the post is going to go in the head. So let me kind of align this because I want to be sure the slit that I cut in the head matches up with the body. So I'm going to cut it down. This is the back of the head upside down. So I'm going to cut a slit about, I'm trying to get it to focus on the seam. Okay, about right here. So about an inch above the bottom. And you can use scissors or you can use a seam ripper. Like I say, just be super careful if you use a seam ripper because it will cut fabric really well and really fast. Okay, like I said, I don't have any of the moleskin. I'm just going to take a little piece of tape and put over the inside just so it will have something. Okay, I can get this flipped through. Okay, we will get this, guys. We will get this. Okay, so I'm going to take my doll joint, the piece with the post, and it's going to go inside the head with the post pointing out of the bottom. I hope this isn't too big. I might have to go down a size. I don't know that I don't have any 40s. I might have some 35s, but I'm not sure. No, this looks okay. Okay, so there's my post coming out of the back of the head. And so I already cut a slit in my little placement circle on this. So the post is going to go through there to the inside, you can see, and you're going to take your washer and put it on the inside of the body. So your little clicky piece, I don't know the term for it, so I call it the clicky piece. And I usually snap it one click and then I adjust all my fabric and then I finish clicking it down. Okay. So here's what it looks like now, the body attached. Okay, so now I'm gonna find my little spots for the arms. She kind of has shoulders, not really prominently, but a little bit, so you can kind of go off of that to see where your arms need to be. Okay, and just be sure, because you'll be using smaller doll joints for the arms, so you want to be sure that you cut your hole smaller. You don't want to cut one as big as you did for the head joint. Okay. Let me find my other doll joints. They just got delivered today. Finally, I've been waiting for them. So these are 30 millimeters. I'm going to use for the arms. Okay. So again, the post piece is going to go in the arm, coming out of the arm. So you're just going to want to cut a little slit in your reinforcement hole, very small. I mean, I basically don't have to apply any force at all. Like I said, the seam ripper cuts very well. And there is a right arm and a left arm, so be sure you put them on the correct sides, or otherwise the hands will be backwards. Or paws, I guess. Bunnies don't really have hands. Okay, so here's one arm with the joint. And you can see how the hand curves out. So I'm going to put it on the side of the bunny. Obviously, you don't want it this way because then the hand is going to be going backwards. Okay, let me find my little hole that I cut. And then you're going to go on the inside of the body and do the washer and the little clicky piece. Okay, now I'm going to do this washer, or this post. Can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Okay, so here's my other arm. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the body. Okay, so there's the whole bunny. And I realize that this minky, the white I use for the arms, is a slightly different color than the white I use for the body, but oh well, it's okay. So anyway, there you go. Now all you have to do is stuff it and sew it closed. I use a ladder stitch to sew it closed. You can Google it, YouTube it, and it will show you how to do it. I'm not going to do the basket and the Easter eggs and carrot tonight because it's almost 11 o'clock and I'm tired. I might be back tomorrow to do them. I'm not sure. We will see. But anyway, I'll be back soon with more tutorials. Like I said, I've got a bunch of new projects I want to do. So I will be back soon. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll try to help you as best I can.